Hello. Students, staff and colleagues from Queen Margaret University in Edinburgh have come together today to make this video entitled Inspiring the Next Generation. We wanted to share it with nursing colleagues and friends from across the world on this International Nurses Day.
Hello, my name is Paul Grice and I'm Principal and Vice Chancellor of Queen Margaret University, and it's my great pleasure to do this introduction. 2020, of course, is the year of the nurse, and the significance of that has suddenly become very real. Never has it been more vital that the nursing voice is heard, particularly as we seek solutions to COVID-19. Nurses, particularly those in public health and community roles, will find themselves front and centre, and it's vital that their ideas and professionalism can influence public policy as we go forward. We know that COVID-19 is no respecter of boundaries, and nursing, in our view, must adopt a stance which is also not contained by boundaries. The QMU nursing strategy has an explicitly global approach, and its recognition as such by Sigma Global is testament to that. I know that all staff and students at Queen Margaret University are committed to a global health, global effectiveness and person-centred healthcare strategy, and are working very hard towards achieving that.
I'm Professor Brenda McCormack from Queen Margaret University, Edinburgh, and on behalf of my nursing colleagues at the university and the Omega Xi chapter of Sigma Global, I would like to wish everybody a happy International Nurses Day. In order to connect with our global nursing friends and colleagues, we have written a poem. The title of that poem is Nursing the World.
The space between our hands
that seeks, reaches and supports.
Helping communities find inner strength
through a shared universal force.
Proud profession, united in spirit.
With smiles reaching our eyes.
Standing strong in care for all.
With the courage to humanise.
Strong presence to make connections.
Resilient, kind and helpless.
Capable and caring, facing adversity.
Being and doing is selfless.
Fragile world, we are strong.
Connected together, united as one.
In dignity, love and humility.
Kind words that are homespun.
Absorbed by our helping interests.
Acting with focused determination.
Hands that steady and comfort.
Leading with close cooperation.
Never say just a nurse.
Unified practice makes us stronger.
Across global boundaries and borders.
We are nursing the world.
My name is Julie Churchill. I'm one of the lecturers within the Division of Nursing at Queen Margaret University, but my role, if you like, for today is as the contact at QMU for the Nursing Now group. I'm also involved in the Nightingale Challenge work with our local health board partners. We are delighted that Sir Paul Grice, our Principal and Vice Chancellor, has filmed a short piece to share his thoughts on what leadership means to me.
Leadership for me is essentially about taking responsibility for the success of an organisation, for everything it does and of course for the people in it. Now that ultimate responsibility brings with it many benefits, the opportunity to influence, to make a positive difference. It can bring financial rewards, it can bring immense job satisfaction. But many challenges also come with leadership. High demands, both physical and mental, sometimes criticism, a lot of pressure. And I think successful leaders genuinely embrace all of these things, both the positive and the challenges. And I don't think it should come as a surprise to know that people are reluctant to follow leaders who themselves don't appear, if you like, to be committed to the cause. And I think the point I'm making here is to be a successful leader, you've got to embrace the whole thing. And I think if you do that, staff will respond to you positively. So attitude is, I think, really important, but it's not sufficient on its own. I think good leaders are able to clearly articulate the strategic vision, the strategic purpose, if you like, and the strategic intent of the organisation. Now, purpose is really important because it provides the fundamental motivation for people in the organisation by telling them what the organisation is for. But strategic intent, to my mind, is really important because it provides momentum, if you like, and a sort of dynamism within an organisation. And I think it's also important to remember, at least in my experience, that good leaders must be good managers. You know, it's really important, as I say, to articulate the strategic vision, but if you can't organise and arrange the organisation so it can actually deliver through good management practices, then you won't be very successful. Now, I think beyond these kind of general observations, there's a few specific points, at least in my experience, that good leaders need to address to be successful. I think the first is knowing your people, and I certainly make an effort to get to know literally as many people as I possibly can within the organisation. And when it comes to my senior team, then it's having a really deep understanding what motivates them, what are their preferences, what do they find challenging, what are their ambitions. It's really important to know this. And in my experience, whether it's the staff across the organisation or the senior team, the amount of time you invest in getting to know them and understand them will be repaid to you many times over. Values are really important in an organisation, and often where theory and practice come together. Now, they really matter because they underpin culture and behaviours within an organisation, and they're also key, I think, to building a strong organisation and personal reputation. And there are many values which are important to an organisation, but for me, things like respect and inclusiveness and equality, and also treating individuals as people, but also really valuing that collective effort are some of the most important values within an organisation. Culture is really important, and of course these are underpinned by values. And I think leaders have a really important role in sort of setting the culture, and also critically, of course, living that culture. People understand very quickly, I think, whether you're an authentic leader, and part of that is whether they feel you're really embodying the cultural and the values that you espouse. I think openness, transparency and candour are really important in leadership, because it's really on them that trust is built. And trust is perhaps the single most important quality that we want in leaders, and that leaders expect of themselves. If you have trust in an organisation, trust in the leadership, then you can really build a successful organisation. And conversely, if there's no trust, it's incredibly difficult to make an organisation successful. And as I say, there's lots of elements that go into trust, but that openness, that transparency and that candour with people, perhaps along with fairness, are really the building blocks of trust. I think a final sort of point I would observe is organisational resilience. And resilience is really a combination of resilient people and resilient processes. And I would define resilience as the ability to withstand shocks and then quickly to recover on the far side of that. And of course, at Queen Margaret University, we're being really tested in terms of our resilience by the coronavirus. My observation so far is that we have proved resilient because the people in the organisation, leaders if you like, in all parts of the organisation, not just the senior team, but throughout the organisation, and that includes student leaders, have shown that resilience, that ability to withstand shocks, and that ability to think about how we can recover. And I think my final thought, maybe just to leave you with, when you're considering as members of the Leadership Academy what sort of leader you want to be, is put yourself in the shoes of those who you will lead, and think about what sort of leader they would want you to be. And if you keep that in mind, I don't think you'll go far wrong. Thank you very much indeed.
The Nurse Leadership Academy is a programme of learning opportunities for all students in the Division of Nursing at Queen Margaret University. And while leadership has many definitions, leadership at nursing in QMU is about individual flourishing, facilitating others to do likewise, and it's closely connected with our person-centred philosophy and ways of working. The programme offers the opportunity for undergraduate students from Year 2 onwards and postgraduate students the opportunity to apply for mentoring and personal development activities that will enable them to develop and offers space for them to shape their career in parallel to their programme. We would like to share with you an interview between our Principal and Vice-Chancellor Paul Grice and 2 students from our Leadership Academy. Paul will pose some questions about their experiences and leadership. The students being interviewed are Sarah, a 4th year adult nursing student, and Kimberly, a postgraduate student on the Specialist Practitioner District Nursing Programme.
Why did you apply to the Leadership Academy?
I applied for the Leadership Academy because being in my 4th year, I thought it would be a really brilliant opportunity to get some guidance and support in effective leadership from people who I see as being inspiring and deserving leaders, especially during the transition between being a student and a qualified nurse.
The reason that I applied for the Leadership Academy is because I just thought it was an excellent opportunity not to be missed, to allow myself to prepare to become a leader of a team in the community and to find out within myself my skills and my attributes and how I can sort of transfer them into becoming a leader.
What have you experienced so far?
I've experienced a very personalised approach to Leadership Academy. It's been very much based upon what I wanted to get out of this. An awful lot of encouragement, an awful lot of belief in me, and an awful lot of shoves in the right direction. And because of this, I've managed to have a really brilliant 4th year and to have gone for opportunities that I wouldn't have gone for without that. So because of this, I applied for a job down in London, Guy's and St Thomas's, and I wouldn't have done that without the support of Julie and Ruth. I also went for the Nursing Times Student Nurse of the Year award, which I was shortlisted for. Because, yet again, because of Julie and Ruth, because of their belief in me.
So far I have experienced excellent mentorship from my practice teacher and team and colleagues here in the community, but also from Queen Margaret, from my mentor there for the Leadership Academy. We've been using sort of a reflective, facilitative reflection and guidance where I have really learned much about myself, about my values and my beliefs, and how I can really use them and portray them into the leader that I want to be. That reflects me as a person. And also I've had excellent opportunities to meet different people from so many different areas in the NHS and allied health professionals in the team who share similar aspirations as me. So it's been a very positive experience so far.
What has surprised you the most?
What has surprised me the most is that my original view of leadership is still the same, and it's justified to me that leadership isn't about the colour of somebody's uniform or about a status. It's actually about the way you treat people. And I wrote about that in my application, that the 2 people who have been the most effective leaders for me were care assistants that I worked alongside in my very first care job when I was 17. They were kind, and I think that has shown to me yet again that kindness is the most important thing you can have in leadership. Kindness, strength and understanding, and if you don't have that, then you're not a very great leader.
So the thing that surprised me the most is probably my confidence that really flourished I'm now a lot more confident as me as a person and how my experience, my knowledge, my skills, my personal attributes as well as my professional are applicable to my new role here, and that I can be my own person and be an individual.
What would you say your top 3 learning points have been?
I received an email from Julie, and in it she spoke about being bold and being brave, and I think that's something that I'll take forward with me, is that if you don't do that you can't get very much, and at points it's scary, and a lot of the time I don't really think I should do things, but if I hadn't, then you won't get anything out of it. Another learning point is to listen, and good leaders are leaders who walk alongside people and not charging ahead and not being the loudest. And yeah, you can only really be a leader if the people you are with can gain something from you and you can gain something from them. And another learning point is that I'm not always right, and I doubt myself an awful lot. So going forward, to try and learn from that and be like the leaders who I've been inspired by, but be myself.
So my top 3 points of advice would be to be confident in who you are as an individual. Be honest with yourself. Knowing your strengths and your weaknesses will help identify areas that you can grow and develop and move on from there. And my last one would be to know your values and know your beliefs and keep them at the forefront of your practice, and hopefully that will result in person-centred care within your caseload, your patients, your clients that you see, and also within your team.
As a leader, how would you like to be viewed?
I would like to be viewed as somebody who is nice, passionate about nursing, protective over those that I work with and look after, and yeah, I think I'd always want people to view me as somebody that they trust, and that being a leader, you're not detached from the people you work alongside. You are there, you are understanding, and you are, I just want folk to think I'm really I'm fair. I think that's what I would want, is to know that if I was in a leadership position, which I will be, which I am, anytime I go on to a ward or in everyday life, you are in a leadership position if you are somebody that has belief in you and belief in yourself.
As a leader, I think I'd like to be viewed as being skillful, being knowledgeable, being approachable and caring, and being able to create a sense of create a facilitative environment for people to grow and develop and flourish personally and professionally within the team.
On International Nurses Day, we are delighted that Professor Brenda McCormack, Head of the Divisions of Nursing, Occupational Therapy and Arts Therapies, and the Associate Director at the Centre for Person-Centred Practice Research, has produced a short film to share his thoughts on what leadership means to me.
Leadership to me means helping others to fly, or creating the conditions to help everyone to flourish. How do I do that? Well, I do that by drawing on 5 practices as a person-centred leader. Firstly, working with people's beliefs and values, and that is trying to understand the other person through the context of their values and what drives them in their work. Secondly is engaging authentically. Engaging as a real person and not trying to be somebody I'm not. Thirdly is shared decision making, and that is trying to make decisions that are informed by others, with others, and for others. Fourthly is that of sympathetic presence, and that is about being alongside other people, understanding their context and what it is that is impacting on them and the decisions that they make. And finally is working holistically, And that means seeing the whole person, seeing them in all of their lives, and not just as a worker or a particular person at a particular point in time. It is these practices that I try to draw upon every day as a leader, and like all leaders, I sometimes do them well, but often get them wrong. But it's the importance of reflecting on my effectiveness in using these practices that is most important in the context of helping everyone to flourish.
On behalf of all the staff and students in the Division at Nursing at Queen Margaret University, we wish you a very happy International Nurses Day.